September 2013. This is when I did my last on-stage performance, playing the role of Andy in the play The Steamy. I have still not returned to the boards in an acting capacity. Why haven't I done that? Let's get into it. Just because I've not went back onto the stage to perform, it doesn't mean I've given it up entirely. Hell, this video is a performance art. Content creation is a performance art. I've done stand-up. I've recorded albums. I have my own theatre company. I've currently got my own media company. I've did supporting work for TV shows and helped out with several other projects. So I've not stepped away from that life entirely. But I did have to step away from performing on stage, taking on acting roles in a larger capacity. So why did I do that? Life happened. I met Alison. Things were getting very serious very quickly. And I realised that I wanted to devote my life to her. I remember sitting in the backstage area of that show on the final night, and when you get a new partner, cast members like to rip the piss out of you. That's natural. That's kind of what happens. And normally, I would cower, I would get really shy, I'd be insecure about it, and not give any straight answers. One of the cast members straight up asked me, "So you gonna marry her then?" And I said yes. No hiding away, no hint of bullshit. It was just yes. I knew it the second I saw her that I would be with her for the rest of my life. Bear in mind, we'd been only going out 4 months at this point. But sometimes when you know, you know. So I wanted to try and make a go of it with Alison. And I think it's safe to say that I've succeeded. We're married, we've got twin boys, and well, I still love her. So must be doing something right. I also wanted to try and break out and do my own thing. I'd been performing on stage for, at that point, 20 years. And the show that I was finishing up on was The Steamy by Tony Roper. It's a play I've studied since school. I always wanted to be in it. I finally had my chance to be in it. And I thought, 20 years, I've just graduated from college. The time feels right to move on. And that was what I did. But little did I realise that during that time, my health would also hit the swanny. Physical health was up and down, but my mental health just completely tanked. I just became broken and yeah, the guy that you see before you now. Some people think that that was because I left acting that my mental health went down the tubes, but it wasn't that. It was because I used acting as a crutch to try and not deal with any of the issues that I had going on throughout my life up until that point. And with that gone, I had no choice but to deal with it. There has been a lot of lows, there's been some highs as well. But stepping away from it was necessary for me to finally deal with all the demons that are in my little brain. I'll never recover because mental health is a lifelong battle. But people seem to think it was a case of I left the stage and then became not well. I was not well throughout the entire time that I did performing on stage. We just never knew what it was or how to deal with it. And then sometimes I would use that as the crutch and the excuse for not being well. The amount of times that people in the groups would have heard me say, "I'm burned out, I'm tired, I'm just feeling sad and I don't know why." It was irritating for them and it was irritating for me. But when I left, I could finally work on myself and figure out what was wrong in my head, where the stuff was coming from, and how to try and keep battling it so I never got to bad situations again. Obviously, that has not worked, but I am still trying and I will continue to try. So I don't have the mental fortitude that I once did for this type of work. Which leads me to acting, well, let's just say a little bit unprofessional. I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm a square peg in a round hole. I'm not good with conformity, I'm not good with following the trends, I'm not good with following orders. I am just a total contrarian. I question everything, I question why things are done a certain way, and try to do them differently. And when you try and break into this type of industry, there is a lot of people that tell you to do things a certain way. I tried to fit into that mold. I really did. Again, as I've said in previous videos, you don't just walk away from something and not feel like you need to try and take these chances. But during the time away from the stage, I've realised one key thing. I am better being my own boss than trying to work for someone else. It's what's led to all the crap that's happened to me. And performing on stage is kind of the same. I understand that there is a structure, there are orders, there are rules, you have to follow them. And I do respect that. But when you get to the point that you realise you have your own ideas of how to do things, your own style, your own core values of how to perform, when to perform, what your process is, and it doesn't fit in with other people's, it usually is time to walk away. Do I claim that I am the best actor, director, writer, producer on God's green earth? Of course not. And I never will be. But I do recognise that sometimes I do have a bit of a bad attitude when it comes to the professional side of this industry. I want to walk my own path and blaze my own trail. If it means I never pop up on your TV screens, or in a theatre, or in a cinema, so be it. I can live with that. There was a long time that I couldn't live with that, but believe it or not, I have got slightly wiser. And I think there's a fine line between being a professional and being controlling. I've been guilty of both, so I do not judge in any way. But it becomes a case of people control you to try and get you to do things that they want you to do. That's not me. And that comes for lots of things. It comes for things like self-tapes, show reels, pitch decks. I always look at the way things are done and think, why don't I try putting my own spin on it? Because you don't want to just blend in. Then you're told you're not professional enough and you don't follow the criteria that they never actually set you in the first place. So it's easier just to do things myself, which leads me into the final one. I like doing my own thing. I like that I can go out and get things done on my own now. I like that I can do things and not have to rely on other people that could potentially hold everything up. I like that I have a trusted core group where I can say, we got an idea, we want to do it, let's go out and do it. And it gets done. And we're in an age now where if you have a camera, some decent sound, somewhere to film, and a bit of lighting, you can get that out there. There are platforms available, like the one that you are watching this video on right now. Doesn't matter if millions of people see it. You would like that to happen, but realistically, the odds of that are infinitesimal. But keep creating the stuff. If one person watches it, it's one person more than would have watched it if you hadn't made the thing in the first place. So I keep doing my own thing. I keep creating content when I have ideas of inspiration or want to talk about something that maybe somebody won't talk about. Or keep making videos about Thomas the Tank Engine because I know that there's an audience for that. Eventually, you find your tribe. You find the people that accept you for who you are. They will support you and they will back you and they make you feel good about yourself. When I was on stage, I didn't feel good about myself. You get the initial dopamine hit and the adrenaline rush when you're on stage, but then you have the post-show blues after it, which would make you sad. And then you get yourself ready to start rehearsing for another play. Then you have the audition process to go with that. If you get the part, you had lines to learn. You had a lot of stressors around it just to try and get you to open night to repeat cycle again. And I'm not going to lie, I loved that cycle for a long time, but I don't love it anymore. When people ask me if I would ever go back to acting on stage, my answer is never say never, because you don't know what will happen in the future. I might find something that really sparks my interest, and then I go out, do it, job's a good one. But I'm too tired for all the bullshit and all the drama that comes around the drama. I'm not exactly the most conforming. I like to do my own thing. And when you have that core belief of knowing that you can do something and you can create it, and you have that little bit of independence and balls to go and do it, that's my new adrenaline hit. That's my new dopamine hit. And that's the thing that I don't want to give up now. I love making these videos. I love writing. I love content creating. I love sitting down with this little webcam that I've got and this microphone and talking to you all. I don't care how many people listen to it. I'm just really appreciative that you do. Do I have knowledge that I could share? I honestly don't know. This is why I'm going on this journey, to try and find out. The only way I can share my knowledge is to actually put the experiences that I had to bed. And this is my way of doing it. I had 20 years acting on stage, and I loved every minute of it. And there were some great times, and I worked with some amazing people. But that time in my life has passed. Where do I get that joy now? Being a father to those two amazing sons of mine. I love them. And I just want to be the best father I can be to them. And then I want to be the best husband that I can be to my wife. And I want to be the best family man, whether that's son, brother, whatever. Then I have my friends, the ones who have stuck with me through thick and thin for 3 decades now. They supported me and I support them. Then comes the media company, the people that I brought on board, helping them grow, helping edit their videos, helping give them confidence to go out and create their own things and blaze their own trails. And then maybe myself. So that's why I gave up performing. I had the most amazing time, some fantastic actors, and creators and friends. And now it's time for me to walk my own path. And I don't know where it's going to lead me, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody for watching. Take care.